My 17-year-old sister is pregnant by a 37-year-old felon with multiple kids he doesn't support. Would I be wrong for getting him fired, telling everyone in the family, and making sure his whole community knows the truth about him? I'm 28. My little sister Cassidy is 17. She just told me she's pregnant and the father is a 37-year-old ex-con who already has 4 other kids he doesn't support. I'm not even shocked at this point. I'm just disgusted. The worst part, she said it so proudly, like she was announcing something beautiful, like she wasn't throwing her entire future in the trash for some washed-up loser who couldn't even raise the kids he already has. The guy's name is Darren. I didn't know much about him before, just that he was older. When I asked how old, Cassidy got weird and dodged it. Now I know why. 37. She's 17. He has kids that are closer to her age than she is to him. I couldn't believe it at first. I asked how the hell she got involved with someone like him, and apparently she met him through some part-time job she was doing helping at a community center. I don't know how long this has been going on. She said it wasn't like that at first, and that she fell in love. I didn't even respond to that. There's nothing to say when someone that young thinks they're in love with a grown man who has no business being anywhere near her. The second she told me she was keeping the baby, I realized no one was going to stop this train wreck but me. I talked to our mom, thinking maybe she'd help me knock some sense into her. Instead, she said, I need to support Cassidy's decision, and that a baby is a blessing. A blessing? From who? A man with a criminal record that includes assault and drug possession? A man who doesn't even pay child support for the kids he's already dumped on other women? That's not a blessing, that's a curse. Apparently, Darren has been over to my mom's place a bunch of times. They even had him at a family BBQ last weekend. I wasn't there because I work Saturdays, but now I'm hearing from my cousin that this man was in my mom's backyard eating ribs and talking to people like he belonged there. My cousin said he was trying way too hard to be funny and charming, and that he kept calling me the jealous brother when I wasn't even around to defend myself. I guess I'm the villain now because I don't want my sister being used by some deadbeat 20 years older than her. I tried to talk to Cassidy alone, but she's completely gone. She actually believes Darren is going to stick around and help raise the baby. She thinks because he buys her snacks and says sweet things, he's some kind of hero. Never mind that he hasn't raised a single one of the other kids he's made. She said, he's just different with me. That sentence made my skin crawl. That's the same thing every other girl he's manipulated probably said. I asked if she's even met any of his other kids. She said no, but he told her the moms are all bitter and keeping the kids from him. That's what he told her, and she believed it. I asked if he's even legally divorced from whoever he was with last, and she said she doesn't know. She doesn't know anything. She just knows she's happy, and now she's planning to move in with him once the baby comes. She's 17. He's 37. I keep repeating it because no one seems to hear me when I say it out loud. I told our mom this was predatory and straight up illegal, and she waved it off like I was being dramatic. She said he's just trying to step up, and that Darren told her he's trying to change. I'm sorry, but if a grown man's redemption arc starts with knocking up a minor, he doesn't deserve a second chance. He deserves a jail cell. The rest of my family is split. A few of my cousins think this whole thing is insane, but they don't want to say anything publicly because they don't want drama. The others are just treating it like some uncomfortable secret they're trying to ignore. I'm the only one openly pissed about it. I'm the only one saying this is wrong. Everyone else is pretending this is normal because they don't want to upset my mom or Cassidy. Even my girlfriend told me to stay out of it. She said it's not my place, that Cassidy is going to do what she wants and I should just let it go, but I can't. I really can't. I raised this girl practically. Our dad's not around. Our mom is barely functional half the time. When I was 19 and Cassidy was 8, I was the one picking her up from school and making sure she had food in the house. And now I'm supposed to sit back while some broke-ass predator takes advantage of her. I can't do that. I've been thinking about what I can actually do. I know where Darren works. I looked it up. He tells people he's a warehouse manager, but he's not. He's a contractor. He does part-time labor and side jobs. I've been collecting stuff, social media posts, screenshots of his arrest record, whatever I can find. I thought about sending it to his employer. I also found out he's behind on child support in 2 different counties. One of his exes has a public court record against him. I might reach out to her. I might reach out to all of them. I don't even care anymore. Because the way I see it, he deserves to lose everything. He's not just some clueless guy who made a mistake. He's a predator who targets young girls, abandons his responsibilities, and uses people until they're ruined. And if no one else in my family is going to do anything about it, I will. I'll burn his whole fake life to the ground if that's what it takes to keep him away from my sister and that baby. I already know this is going to blow up in my face. I know my mom is going to call me toxic. I know Cassidy is going to hate me. I know Darren might retaliate. But I'm not scared of him. I've dealt with worse. And honestly, if this was your sister, your teenage sister getting knocked up by a felon twice her age, would you just stand there and clap? So, yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm crazy for wanting to destroy this man's reputation. Tell every woman he's lied to and get him blacklisted from every job he touches. Because I will. I don't care if it's petty. I don't care if it makes my family hate me. I care about my sister not becoming another statistic. I care about that kid not being raised by a man who should be on a watch list, not a birth certificate. Would I be wrong for going scorched earth? Update 1. Alright, so I went through with it. I said I would, and I did. A few days after my original post, I started reaching out to people connected to Darren. I figured if my sister wasn't going to listen to me, then I needed to get hard proof that would force her to face the truth. I started with Facebook, and some old posts that Cassidy had liked or commented on eventually found a few women who clearly had history with this man. Took a bit of awkward messaging to get a reply, but one finally responded. Let's call her Tasha. Tasha is one of Darren's exes, and the mother of one of his kids. We agreed to meet up at a neutral spot and talk face to face. I told her right away that I wasn't trying to stir up drama, just that my sister, who's still a kid, was now pregnant by him, and I needed to know the truth. She didn't even hesitate. She just looked at me and said, "You're not the first person to come asking that." Then she dropped the bomb. Apparently, when Darren was in his late 20s, he got involved with a 16-year-old girl in a neighboring county. Her parents tried to press charges, but there wasn't enough evidence, and they moved states shortly after. Tasha said Darren has always gone after much younger girls, easier to control, was how she put it. I felt like I was going to puke. I couldn't even speak for a few minutes. I just kept thinking about my sister, how she thinks this guy loves her. He's done this before, probably more than once. And on top of that, Darren hasn't seen his other kids in over a year. Tasha said she has to threaten him with court just to get a text response. He bounces between temp jobs so his wages can't get garnished for child support. He lies about his name on job applications and only works under the table or contract gigs so he can stay hidden. She told me she's been dealing with this bullshit for years, and I'm basically watching the cycle start again with Cassidy. I left that meeting and went straight home and submitted a report to the warehouse he works at. Used his real name and attached a PDF of his criminal record. They called me 2 days later and said he wasn't technically on payroll, he was doing some kind of 1099 work, but that they'd look into it. That's when I knew he was faking his info. Now here's where it went nuclear. Somehow Cassidy found out what I was doing. I guess Darren told her I was digging around and trying to ruin his life. I was sitting in my apartment watching TV when someone started banging on my door, like they were trying to break it down. I open it, and there she is, my pregnant teenage sister, red-faced, crying, yelling at me like I just killed her dog. She called me a stalker, a control freak, accused me of trying to destroy her family. She said I was jealous, that I couldn't stand her being happy, that I've always wanted to control her because I'm mad I don't have a real life. I just stood there and took it. I didn't yell back. I didn't say anything, not because I didn't want to, but because there's literally no version of this where I scream at a pregnant 17-year-old girl in my hallway and come out looking sane. I told her she could believe whatever she wanted, but I wasn't going to let that man ruin her life without a fight. She stormed off, and the next morning, I get a call from our mom. This woman, Jesus Christ. She actually had the nerve to say I was trying to control women, like I'm some kind of misogynist for not wanting my teenage sister to be manipulated by a 37-year-old deadbeat. I told her she should be ashamed of herself for letting that man even come near her daughter. She said Darren was stepping up, and that nobody's perfect. I asked her if she even Googled him. She hung up. Darren is still around, still whispering in Cassidy's ear, still smiling like he's getting away with something. I haven't heard from the job again, but I know he's feeling the pressure because he blocked me on everything and made his socials private. But I'm not stopping. Not now. I've got 3 of Darren's exes willing to talk. One of them sent me texts he sent her last year while she was pregnant, threatening to cut her off if she filed for child support. Another one has proof that he hit her back in 2019. It was reported, but never pursued. It's all piling up. I'm not doing this because I hate my sister. I'm doing it because I love her, and no one else seems to care that she's being used by a predator. My mom has officially lost the plot. Half the family is pretending it's none of their business, but I'm not going to sit on my hands and watch this man ruin another girl, yet alone my sister. I've already started building a folder with every piece of information I can find. Screenshots, records, old photos, even a few public comments he's made where he jokes about loving young girls because they have less baggage. It's disgusting. And just so we're clear, I'm not doing this behind anyone's back. I told Cassidy straight up, if you stay with him, you stay with everything that comes with him. That includes his past. That includes being exposed. She told me I was dead to her. But I'll take that over watching her throw her whole life away. Maybe I am being extreme. Maybe I'm too involved. But honestly, I don't care how it looks anymore. If it takes making his whole world collapse, I'll do it. I'm not done. Not even close. Update 2. So yeah, I went through with it and got Darren fired. Found out through one of his old co-workers that he was using a fake name and claiming to be some kind of manager when he was actually just doing contract warehouse work under someone else's license. He got let go 2 days after I submitted everything: criminal record, fake identity, even some posts he made bragging about beating the system. No one even fought it. They just cut him loose and moved on. I was hoping that would slow things down, maybe make Cassidy finally see that this dude isn't stable and can't support anyone, let alone a baby, but no. Turns out that lit a whole new fire under both their asses. Couple days later, I get a call from my cousin who lives across town. He tells me Darren is loading up his busted-ass car with trash bags full of clothes, and Cassidy is out there helping him pack. I thought he was exaggerating. He wasn't. I pulled up to my mom's house, and there's this man, full grown, 37 years old, with 2 teeth missing in the back, loading up his shit like he's about to start playing house with a teenager. I didn't even knock. I walked up and told him flat out he's not moving in with my underage sister. My mom, of course, is standing on the porch acting like this is normal. She starts whining about how they need support for the baby and how keeping the family together is more important than what people think. No. What's important is that this man has 4 other kids he doesn't even talk to, and somehow she thinks he's going to step up for this one. Cassidy comes running out talking about how I'm embarrassing her in front of her man, and how I'm always trying to ruin her life. I told her straight to her face that she's throwing her life away and that this dude is a predator, not her boyfriend. I reminded her again that she's not even legal, and she's letting some unemployed felon crash in her room like it's cute. My mom tries to shove me and tells me I'm being aggressive, but I didn't even touch her. I said if Darren crosses that threshold, I'm calling the cops. Darren walks up to me and says, "You touch me and I'll press charges." I laughed in his face and said, "You won't be able to press charges if you're in prison for statutory grape." That set him off. He called me every name in the book, tried to puff his chest like he wanted to fight, but he didn't. He got in the car and peeled out of the driveway. He screamed that this isn't over, and something about how I'm interfering in God's plans. Yeah, God totally planned for him to knock up a teenager after abandoning 4 kids and lying to his boss. Got it. That night, my car windows got smashed. No one stole anything, just busted out the windows and left. The neighbors didn't see who did it, and the cameras across the street were too blurry to make anything out. I filed a report, but surprise, surprise, the cops said, unless I can prove it was Darren, there's not much they can do, even though I literally told them he threatened me earlier that day. My girlfriend is now scared. She told me straight up that she thinks I should back off. She doesn't want to get caught in the crossfire, and honestly, I don't care. I'm not walking away. If Darren wants to come at me, let him. I'll be ready. Later in the week, I got back in contact with 2 of Darren's exes. One of them used to live with him and confirmed something I already suspected: he bounces from woman to woman and moves in right before they give birth, just long enough to play house and avoid having to pay child support. Then he ghosts them, usually within a month or 2, and lets the new mom struggle alone while he disappears. She said he did the exact same thing to her. I also got proof he's behind on child support for at least 2 of his kids. There's a warrant in another state, but since he's not working legally, there's no way for the system to catch him unless someone tips them off, which I'm very much considering. But the worst part is that Cassidy still doesn't care. I showed her the child support documents. I showed her screenshots from his ex calling him a predator. She just kept saying they don't know him like I do, and he's changed. She's so far gone, it's like talking to a wall. Meanwhile, my mom is making things worse. She's trying to act like I'm the crazy one, going around to family members saying I'm violent, that I'm making threats, that I'm obsessed with Darren. I've had 2 different relatives text me asking why I'm trying to ruin Cassidy's happiness. One even said I should let her make her own mistakes. Mistakes? That's what we're calling pregnancy by a 37-year-old grown man now? A mistake? A mistake you just watch play out like it's a TikTok prank? I'm so done with this whole family sometimes. No one wants to deal with it until there's a baby crying at 3 a.m. and no one's around to help. Then they'll all be asking for rides, diapers, babysitting. Not me. I told them all if Darren moves in, I will call CPS myself. A 17-year-old with no job, no diploma, and an unstable adult man in her bed while she's pregnant. Let the state handle it. And I'm not bluffing either. I spoke to a lawyer friend and showed him everything I've collected: texts, screenshots, photos of the damage to my car. He says there's enough to build a case for a welfare check or even a report if Darren tries to legally establish residency at my mom's place, especially if he's still hiding from support orders. So yeah, things are escalating fast. I'm basically the enemy of the house now. Cassidy's not speaking to me. My mom blocked my number. Even my girlfriend is pulling away and saying she's emotionally exhausted. But I'm not the one who made this mess. I'm the one who's trying to clean it up before someone ends up even more screwed than they already are. Next step is to figure out how to get anyone to officially flag this situation before he locks her down for good. Because once that baby's here, it gets a lot harder to untangle everything. Anyway, I know I said I wouldn't post again unless something big happened. Well, I guess this counts. He's trying to move in. He threatened me. And I think it's only a matter of time before this turns into something worse. Update 3. I'm writing this update with about 2 hours of sleep, my phone blowing up, and no peace anywhere in my life. This past week has been the most chaotic, draining, and emotionally confusing stretch of my life, and I'm honestly just running on fumes and spite at this point. So, about 4 nights ago, I got a call from my cousin, the only one still halfway sane in all this mess, saying that Cassidy had been taken to the ER by ambulance. She's about 7.5 months pregnant now, and apparently passed out in the kitchen while home alone. Our mom wasn't there. She was with Darren, from what I found out later. Figures. At first they thought it was dehydration or stress, but it turned out to be more serious. She had signs of preeclampsia, and they needed to monitor her blood pressure and run tests. I went straight to the hospital. Didn't even stop to change out of my work clothes. But when I got there, they wouldn't let me in. The nurse at the desk looked at me like she wanted to say something but couldn't. Just kept repeating that only one person was allowed in with her at that time, and that the patient has requested no additional visitors. Guess who was in there? Darren. Not my mom, not her actual brother who raised her half her life. Darren. This grown man with 4 other neglected kids and a rap sheet longer than my lease. I stood in the hallway for almost an hour. Then a nurse, bless her heart, came over and told me quietly that I should come back later. She said, "I just want you to know, you are right to be worried. She's in over her head." I left. But I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't even think straight. The idea that she was stuck in there, sick, with him in the room controlling what she saw or heard, made my skin crawl. And the fact that she still didn't want to talk to me after everything I'd done, it hurt, not gonna lie. But then the next day I got a call from her, middle of the afternoon. Her voice sounded like she'd been crying nonstop. She said, "I saw everything. I didn't know how bad it really was." Turns out the nurses took her phone for monitoring or something, maybe to keep her calm. And when they gave it back, she finally went through all the messages I had sent her weeks ago. Screenshots from his exes, his record, the restraining order from years ago, the aliases he used on job sites, even a message from one of the moms of his other kids warning her directly. She said she just ignored it all back then because she didn't want to believe it. She thought I was being controlling, that I just didn't want her to be happy. But now she gets it. She said, and I'll never forget this, "He got me the same way he got all those other girls. I thought I was special. I'm not." She told the hospital staff she didn't want Darren there anymore. He refused to leave at first, caused a whole scene yelling about how she owed him and how she was being brainwashed by jealous people. Security ended up removing him from the building. The staff put a note in her file that he wasn't allowed to visit anymore without approval. That's when the real crap started. That night, I got back to my place after visiting her. They finally let me in now that she changed her visitor list, and there was a note stuck to my door. A kitchen knife stabbed through it into the wood. The note just said, "You'll regret this." No name. But come on, we all know who it was. I called the cops immediately. They came, took photos, wrote up a report. One of my neighbors has a camera facing the hallway, and I'm praying to whatever is out there that it caught something. Because right now, this has moved from creepy loser trying to play daddy to full-blown stalking and intimidation. I told Cassidy. She broke down again and said she was sorry, that she never thought he'd go this far. She asked if she could stay with me when she's discharged. I said yes, obviously. I don't care what it takes. I'm not letting her or that baby anywhere near that man again. Mom, though, she's still acting like I'm the problem. She said I set Darren off by interfering in their family plans. She said I don't understand how hard it is to be a single teen mom, and that I need to let Cassidy make her own mistakes. Mistakes? This isn't about some dumb high school crush. She got manipulated by a predator, and instead of stepping up, our mom just opened the damn door and said, "Come on in." I can't even look at my mother right now. I've blocked her number. Told her if she shows up at my place uninvited, I'll get a trespass order on her too. Some of my family is finally starting to take me seriously now that things are spiraling this hard. My aunt, who's always stayed quiet before, offered to help look into getting temporary guardianship paperwork in case Darren tries anything with custody when the baby's born. My cousin sent me some links to legal aid. Even one of Darren's exes reached out again to say she'd be willing to make a statement if it helps. But still, it feels like I'm the one who lit the fire, and now everyone's running because it's out of control. I never wanted things to get this bad. I just didn't want my sister to be another one of his victims. I know what some of you are probably thinking. You should have backed off. Let her figure it out. But the truth is, if I had walked away when she first got pregnant, I think she'd still be under his thumb, still convinced that this 37-year-old felon who lies about his job and dodges child support was her prince. Now at least she's awake. Broken, scared, overwhelmed, but awake. I don't know what's going to happen next. She's still in the hospital, and the baby might come early. Darren's still out there, probably pissed and plotting something, and I'm still dealing with family acting like I'm the villain in all this. But I've come too far to stop now. He wants to threaten me? Fine, let him come. I'll be ready. I'm not going anywhere. Final update. So yeah, Darren got arrested. I wasn't expecting it to happen this fast, but after everything that went down with the knife and the note on my door, I finally had enough and started pressing every single button I could. I got lucky that my neighbor had a Ring camera pointed right at my building and caught him walking up and leaving the note. It was grainy, but you could tell it was him. I gave that to the cops along with the previous hospital incident where he was banned from returning, and I guess that was enough to violate something on his record because they picked him up a few days later. I didn't even know he was gone until Cassidy called me from the hospital again. She went into labor early. Baby came about 3 weeks before the due date, and even though everything turned out okay, it was still scary. I wasn't there when she delivered because she didn't want anyone in the room except a nurse and the social worker. She didn't even tell our mom she went into labor until after the fact. I found out from the hospital, not her. That stung a little, but I'm not mad about it. I think she just didn't want anyone making it about themselves, which is fair, because our mom 100% would've. Cassidy is a mess. She's been crying non-stop, not just about the baby or Darren, but about everything. The reality of what she did finally hit her, and I think it's eating her alive. She keeps saying how stupid she feels, how she doesn't know what she's going to do, and how she wishes she listened earlier. She even apologized to me, which I honestly didn't expect. I told her she didn't need to say anything right now and just focus on recovering. I've been helping out a lot with the baby because she's overwhelmed. I haven't slept more than 4 hours a night since she got discharged. I'm not even complaining about it. I'd rather lose sleep than let her fall apart again or, worse, fall back into contact with Darren if he gets out. Because trust me, even with the arrest, I don't think this guy's gone for good. He's the type who'll pop back up the second the coast is clear. He already tried calling her from jail and she blocked the number. And just to be clear, no. Our mom hasn't changed. She's still playing dumb, still defending Darren, still pretending like this is all some witch hunt I started because I'm jealous or too protective. She keeps saying things like, maybe if you weren't so aggressive, he wouldn't have gotten arrested, or you just can't let people live their lives. I told her flat out that if she ever lets that man step foot in her house again, I'll call CPS myself. She hasn't spoken to me since. Now the rest of the family is acting like I burned the house down. Apparently, a few of our cousins think I humiliated our family and made things worse by escalating everything. They've been saying behind my back that I ruined Cassidy's chance at a real family and scared off the father of her child. What kind of upside-down logic is that? He was a 37-year-old bum preying on a teenager. He was never going to be a father. He was never going to step up. He was just going to use her like he did all the other girls he left behind. But somehow I'm the villain because I didn't sit on my hands and watch it happen. Even my girlfriend left. She said she couldn't handle all the chaos anymore and that it felt like I was married to my family instead of being with her. I get it. I really do. This whole thing consumed every part of my life for months. I missed work, lost friends, and spent more money than I even want to admit, just trying to keep everyone afloat. I haven't seen the inside of a gym or hung out with anyone just for fun in almost 6 months. I don't even know what my life looks like anymore outside of diapers, formula, and trying to convince a traumatized teenager that her world isn't completely over. But despite everything, I don't regret what I did. I don't regret exposing Darren, getting him fired, getting him arrested. I don't regret the fights or the screaming matches or even the silent treatment from half my family, because if I didn't do it, no one else was going to. Everyone was too scared to rock the boat, too comfortable pretending like this wasn't a disaster waiting to happen. They were more worried about keeping the peace than protecting a 17-year-old girl from a 37-year-old man with a history of doing this exact same thing. I know I didn't do everything perfectly. I lost my temper more than once. I made a few choices out of spite. I probably went harder than I needed to sometimes. But I'm not sorry for protecting my sister. I'm not sorry for refusing to be another bystander watching a slow train wreck and doing nothing to stop it. She's here. The baby's here. And yeah, it's a mess. It's a huge, overwhelming, impossible mess. But it could have been so much worse.